Hello everybody, the Lawn Gnome is here.
I love it. I love bringing people together.
Today, I am here to talk about the movie that everybody has already talked about last week in terms of reviews, as well as the movie that everyone is still talking about because it is so wrapped in controversy. And that, of course, is the brand new Zack Snyder directed film, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, the movie that is the sequel to Zack Snyder's film from 2013, Man of Steel. Just so you all know, as far as I'm concerned, my best picture of 2013. And the movie that is finally going to give us DC faithful the DC cinematic universe that we have been waiting for so long. Now, before I begin my review, I just want to let everybody know that there may be a couple of things that could be considered spoilers in the video a little bit later. I personally don't think they are, but if you are afraid of getting spoiled, please turn the video off before I begin the review, and you can always revisit my video once you've seen the film. So I just want to let everybody know that when they had announced that they were going to be doing this movie, and the fact that Zack Snyder was going to be directing this film, I was so excited, because I am a big fan of Zack Snyder, especially when it comes to movies that are based on comic books. 300, Watchmen, and of course Man of Steel are three of my all-time favorite comic book-based films. So when I found out that he was going to be one of the people that was going to be a major part of the DC cinematic universe, along with David S. Goyer, as well as Christopher Nolan basically being a massive support system in the background for all of these brand new DC movies, especially to catch up with Marvel, I just felt that good things were going to come. But then this movie comes out and it gets a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes, and people who go to see it are just either loving it or hating it. Although, for a personal opinion, I truly believe that the reasons why a lot of people are hating it are some of the stupidest reasons, especially when they say, this movie is too intense, it's too dark, it's not fun. Well, if that is truly your attitude, then crawl under the covers of your bed and go hug your teddy bear, because you obviously don't know how to take the heat. And if you can't take the heat, get the hell out of the kitchen. So I've seen this movie, and here's what I'm gonna say. I loved this movie from beginning to end. Yes, it was intense. Yes, it was dark. Yes, I felt like I got rocked so hard that when I left the theater, I had to go take a nap. But I just loved what Zack Snyder did with these characters. Let's talk about those characters. Henry Cavill coming back to play Superman. He didn't really have as big of a role as I thought he would, especially after a whole movie that revolved around him. But what I did love about him was, even though his Superman character was not as often found within the movie, I thought that his role as Clark Kent, working at the Daily Planet, working off of his co-workers, I really thought that he did a great job. Let's talk about Gal Gadot, who is going to be playing Wonder Woman in the future films. I want so much more of her. She had such a small role, and she does have some great action scenes as Wonder Woman, especially towards the end. And I really think that she has so much potential, especially because she was getting so much hate for playing this character, because she's not tall enough, she's too skinny. I don't agree with that. I feel that as long as you can give a great performance, you can do great things. Let's talk about Ben Affleck. Now, I won't lie, I was a tiny bit hesitant about the fact that they chose him to play the new Batman, but I always say to people, in Snyder we trust. And after I saw a movie like Gone Girl, I had a much better feeling. I was on the Batfleck train. My Batman v Superman pop is no longer called Batman, it is my Batfleck pop, and I am proud of it. Because we have had great actors that have portrayed Bruce Wayne. We have had great actors that have portrayed Batman, but we never truly had someone that just united these two personalities in a perfect marriage. And as far as I'm concerned, Ben Affleck did it. I also loved how they really gave us the Batman that we wanted in terms of the looks, in terms of his fighting style. I just appreciated that so much. Yes, some people say that he kills, but that's when it comes to exploding cars. You did not see him shoot somebody in the head, break a neck, you heard broken bones, but I know for a solid fact, especially if you watch extra closely, he did not kill when it came to one-on-one fist-fighting combat, and I appreciated the fact that they did that. However, in terms of Batman and his fighting style, we also have to remember that this is a character that is based on The Dark Knight Returns Batman, the Frank Miller story. He's darker. He has done this many times. His mind has been warped. He has just had enough of just dealing with all of these criminals that just don't want to go away and just don't want to make this place a good world to live in. And when Superman comes into the fray, he gets even more terrified. He is afraid that this is something that he can't stop, and because of that, he is just mad with rage to try and put an end to this possible alien menace. Jeremy Irons as Alfred. I'm going to quote my friend Ash from the Captain Vitus show. What a treat! Michael Caine is a fantastic Alfred, but Jeremy Irons is on par with Michael Caine's Alfred. I am so excited for Ben Affleck and Jeremy Irons now. I know that Ben Affleck is planning to direct and star in a Batman film that is going to coincide with this universe. I truly feel after seeing this movie, it is going to work so well. Now, let's talk about Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. A lot of people say that he is completely miscast. Some people say that he would have made a better Riddler than Lex Luthor. However, I truthfully agreed at the beginning. I believe that he was a little over the top and a little bit kooky, but we also have to recall that Zack Snyder is a comic book purist, and there was a time when Lex Luthor did have his mad scientist phase in the late 70s into the 80s, where he was kind of kooky, kind of sporadic, kind of all over the place. But as the movie goes on, especially when you get to the end, you definitely see that Lex Luthor that we know emerging in Jesse Eisenberg's portrayal, and I have a feeling that we will get that Lex Luthor in future films, because as far as I'm concerned, he is not going away anytime soon. So, it sounds like I think that this movie is the greatest movie that I've ever seen of all time, but it's not. It's a fantastic comic book film, but there is an understanding as to why it is not getting the love that it truly deserves. And the main factor is the story. Yes, some people couldn't get it. Some people thought that it was all over the place. It was too many plot points, etc., etc. Now, that is true. There's a lot of stuff going on in this movie, but I am happy that I was able to follow it all. But I can also understand why a lot of people were upset with the story. And it's also due to Zack Snyder and his fandom. This was not a movie that was made to please everybody. I hate to say it. This was truly a movie for the comic book purists. I'll tell you why. At least this is what I thought. One of the few things that I was happy about was the fact that they didn't go all the way back and start it over with Batman's origins. Besides the fact that you did see the murder of his parents, it was a very short and minor piece of the film. It actually is during the opening credits, which I thought was artfully done. There's also the point where you actually see that Clark Kent and Lois Lane are madly in love. Where did that relationship come from? How did this happen? Well, if you want to know how all these things happened, go watch the Richard Donner Supermans, or go watch the Christopher Nolan movies, or heck, go watch the Batman movies from Tim Burton, because that's what Zack Snyder was trying to do. He wasn't trying to tell the story over again. He put the characters in a brand new movie. You're supposed to know what happened. And quite frankly, these are things that people should already know what happened. But when you take a look at the scene where Bruce Wayne is in the Batcave, and you see him looking at a beaten-up Robin outfit with spray paint on it in a glass case, not many people are going to understand how that happened. Some people are not even going to realize that it's a Robin outfit. And when you take a look at Lex Luthor and his motivations in the movie, later on in the film you finally understand what he's all about. But do you know what his motivations are at the beginning? Unless you are a true fan of these characters from a comic book perspective, from an animated series perspective, you're not gonna understand what is going on. And I truthfully feel that that is the reason why this movie is wrapped in controversy. Because it is not made for the mass fan appeal. And I will also say that one of the biggest falters for this film. I didn't necessarily think that it was a bad thing, but for the greater good, I'll let everybody know. This movie was nothing but one big commercial for what is yet to come, and I think it's making everybody excited for what is yet to come, because I am just so excited to see all of these brand new DC images of all of these legendary characters finally showing up on the big screen. And based on what I have seen so far with Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, I really think that this is going to work. And if they keep it dark, and if they keep it this intense, I really will appreciate it, because it doesn't have to be light and fluffy. There doesn't have to be jokes being thrown out there every single second. And I also want people to understand that there were jokes in this movie. They were few and far between, but they were there. You just had to pay attention and look for them. And I truthfully feel that Zack Snyder and all the other directors that are going to be tied to all these future DC projects will do so. But because of the backlash, I am a little upset and a little bit worried about the fact that Suicide Squad is being reshot to a certain capacity to make it more light and airy and fluffy for the masses. And that just makes me upset, because I really appreciated where Zack Snyder went with these characters and where this movie went. This movie is so intense. It's so dark. It will exhaust you. But my God, it was amazing. I am so wanting to see this movie a second time, but based on my schedule, I don't think I'll have a chance to see it on the big screen, but I'm going to do my very best, because seeing these characters and these sequences on the big screen was so amazing, and I cannot wait to own this movie on DVD, because while some people will not see the rewatchability factor, like compared to movies like Captain America, The Avengers, and Iron Man, and all the other Marvel movies, heck, even Deadpool and X-Men, and maybe even DC movies like Man of Steel, it's a tough movie to get through because of how dark and intense it is, but I loved that, and that is why I feel I will be able to watch this many times in the future, and I am so excited to be the proud owner and add it to my DC collection, and I'm even more excited for Suicide Squad this summer and Wonder Woman next year, and don't even get me started on Justice League, because in Snyder, I still do trust. So Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice is going to get 3.5 out of 4 stars from me. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. As always, I'm really looking forward to having a discussion with you all now that I've finally seen this movie, so please put your comments in the box below, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all in the next one, and actions speak louder than words.